right. Here we are, a couple of crazy, nutty movie goofs. You know, crazy. We don't break the law or anything, but we're crazy movie fans, fanatics, and we're here today to talk about
Scream 4.
Why don't I start? Why don't I start this time? Scream 4. What do we got here? How many years after 3? 11?
Yeah, about 11.
About 11 or about 11 or actually 12, I think. The Scream. Yeah. Oh no, it was 11.
February 4th, 2000.
Yeah, right. It was 11. Okay. Anyway, 11 years after Scream 3. Now I think they had this grandiose plan that they're going to kind of reboot and do what, another trilogy. I think was kind of their
that was their idea.
Their grand plan. Well, you know, I never saw Scream in the theater. I kind of got into Scream after when Part 2 came out on DVD. So I saw 1 on DVD, 2 on DVD, and I saw the worst one in the theater. So I'm just saying that basically I've been a Scream fan. There's a lot of horror fans, kind of the grungy, you know, Rob Zombie fans that just don't even give Scream a chance because of the kids and, you know, the kind of the yuppie, you know, nature of the whole thing and stuff. But you gotta give it a chance because past all that facade and everything like that, there's some kind of some cool stuff. So
I've been a fan of the Scream franchise ever since the first one. I saw all of them in the theaters, and they're just glorious movies. Especially the first one. The first one is among my top 5 favorite movies of all time. It is a brilliant.
I didn't know that. I don't think.
Yeah, it's a brilliant movie. I love that movie so much, and it's the movie that made me want to be a filmmaker. Actually, so
that's pretty goddamn cool.
There you go. The second one I think is also just like a really, really good sequel. The third one is very hit or miss. I ultimately like it. I don't very respect it too much. I don't respect it very much. But like, it's fun seeing those characters, and that's ultimately what won me over for the third one. But Scream 4 came out 11 years later, and Scream 4 is one that has been really, really love it or hate it out there. And
it did very poorly.
It did kind of do poorly, but like over the time, I think it's going to be respected a little bit more.
Maybe in other years we'll get 5.
It sounds like Weinstein wants to do a 5th one. It's just a matter of finding the time to do it. Well, like worldwide box office.
Oh yeah, that's right. See, I always forget about that.
Yeah, domestic it didn't do too well, but worldwide it did fairly decent.
Do you mind? I just got a lot. Do you mind if I just get? I got a lot to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me say this. Now, I went into Scream. Now, basically, granted, let's face it. Williams had 11 years to craft this script, right? So to me, when I go in and see Scream 4, every single minute better be goddamn. It better be. Let's face it. It better be great if you got 11 years to think about this sequel. So I go in there. You know, the trailer was pretty cool. It didn't blow you away or anything like that, but it was kind of cool. And a woman landing on the van. I thought maybe this is going to be, you know, take it to the next level and kind of stuff like that. So let me just say, overall, I thought it was really stupid. No, this is the way I would have done it. I didn't like the so much compared to Saw, I thought was wrong. I thought it was the wrong way to go. If you look at Scream 3, I think in Scream 3, they're making Stab 3, right? So to me, it would have just made perfect sense to just basically have a Stab, this is what I would have done, Stab trilogy, right? And instead of them making well, they weren't making it, but instead of there being 7 Screams, just have there be 3, and then what basically happens in this Scream 4, which is kind of like a knockoff a little bit, or it says stuff about remakes in a way, I just thought it would have been so awesome if instead of just have 3 Scream movies and then have them remaking Stab. It would have been just so cool. Or have not like 3 where they're in Hollywood making it, but have, you know, have it maybe just a little bit in the background that the remake of Stab is coming out, and oh boy, all the kids that were, you know, sucking their thumb when the first Stab came out, they're just like, oh cool, look at this new movie, and then the old people like, yeah. So I just don't make the movie about the remake, but I'm just saying instead of having that thing about the 7 Stabs, just have that and then that, and again, it's been so long since I saw it, but ultimately I'm just going to say that if you're going to, after 11 years, come back with a 4th you know, the third sequel, the fourth movie in the series, I guess I hope that they would have had a better reason than they did, is what it boils down to. And I just didn't think the return, what he came up with, warranted the return. And I did think it kind of fell flat on those grounds. I just wanted to say that.
I was a big fan of the movie. The more I saw the movie, the more I liked it.
Oh yeah, you saw it how many times?
I saw it 3 times.
Yes, yeah, I only saw it once.
I tried to make it that 4th time, but it dropped out of the theater.
Didn't work. It came out of the theater halfway through the week, first week of release.
The reason that I really liked it is I thought that it went back to what the first one and the second one was trying to do, in that it was trying to make commentary on the grounds of horror, where the third one sort of lost that. And what worked was that the film is a 4th one in that it involves the same characters from the previous 3, but it is set, for all intents and purposes, a reboot. It is a remake. And that's why the title itself is Scream, and then the A turns into a 4. Like, it acts as both. I thought that was a very, really clever marketing tool if you've seen the movie. If not, then it just looks stupid. I will grant you that. But it was actually really clever having seen the end of the movie. I thought that it did have a lot of like decent things to say, and it also had some like strong social commentary. The motive of the killer at the end strikes like some. It's rather eerie in that it could happen. I can see it happening. I mean, take out some of the connections to other characters, to the Sidney character, like the previous ones had. The motives of the killers in all of the movies, minus the third one, are completely believable. In the first one, it was Billy's was, I guess it's spoiler, oops.
What about a movie from '96?
Billy's motive was like completely viable, and it was disturbing. But Stu's motive was just basically like, I'm gonna do this because I'm gonna do this. Like he was peer pressured into it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And there was something really kind of creepy and disturbing about that. And then the motive of the killer in the second one. Mickey was equally disturbing, like in that he just wanted to. He was going to be a killer regardless. He was the killer.
Yeah, yeah. This was
he
a good
was
reason.
Going to blame the movies.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to be like Billy and Stu. He was going to blame the movies. He wasn't going to try and get away with it, which made his actions throughout that movie really, really creepy. And then the mom's motive in that was terrific. The third one, the motive almost seemed completely incidental. It didn't matter, but. What mattered in that one was Sidney's response to it, which was just like, I've heard this before. You're going to kill people because you want to kill people.
That response, I think we've talked about before, that Sidney gives in part 3 is kind of makes the movie worth being there, because it's just like, that's exactly what I'd say, or a lot of people would say. It's just like, I've heard this 2 times before. It's not my fault that you're killing people. It's deal with it.
There is nobody else to blame but yourself. Just take responsibility. I really liked that. That was the best thing in the third movie.
Yeah.
This one, the killer's motive, and I'm not going to give it away, but the killer uses technology in such a creepy way, and the motive is essentially for the prosperity that comes with the use of the technology. And that's what made the movie really creepy, really disturbing, and really ultimately smart for me. And then the ties to Sidney's character was also kind of interesting and unique, much like the previous ones. Like it always ties into Sidney somehow.
Yeah.
They're running out of ways to do that, but whatever. I thought that the whole movie was pretty good, except for the middle had a little bit of a problem. And I only had it the first time around where I thought the middle went really slow and just came to a crawl. Upon repeated viewings, it didn't really bother me. But Wes Craven does some really smart things. If you know the ending of the movie, go back and watch some of the scenes between the characters and who the killer or killers end up to be, and you'll see that like the way Wes shoots it is really kind of neat and smart, and adds insight into what the motive ultimately becomes. it wasn't quite as funny as I was hoping. Like, Scream movies tend to have a wicked, sick sense of humor, and this one didn't really have too much outside of what you saw in the trailer, which wasn't a particularly good trailer, but what basically works for me is the first 15 minutes and the last half hour were brilliant. They were just masterpieces, and everything in the middle was varying levels of good. The rule for a good movie is to have 3 good scenes and no bad scenes. I didn't feel that there were any bad scenes. There was much more than 3 good scenes, so I'd give it 3.5 out of 4. It definitely warrants repeated viewings, though.